since I joined the municipality. I've been offered tea and food throughout, and I told my office that I'm not eating until we can agree with these people in this house. And if they are going to kill me by forcing me not to eat, then at least it is on their conscience, not mine. I will die an honorable man. But program director, we are here this morning to come and, almost as they say, we come in peace to you as business, as the property owners. I want to plead with you this morning. There are many things that are out there that are said, many things that you have heard, many things that you may believe. I'm asking of you to give us this opportunity and to listen to what we say, and to listen attentively. I know you are going to hear things you may not agree with. I know you are going to hear things that you may not like, but continue to listen, and we will also listen to you. And we would want to take this morning as an opportunity to allay some of the fears that are out there. My apology, I did not acknowledge the President of the Chamber of Business. Sir, good morning to you as well. My apology. I heard the program director speaking of the entity you represent, but I didn't quite see you, and my apology for that. Good morning and welcome to you as well. And the reason why I want us to have a conversation, frank and open conversation, is because it is in our collective interest. It is in the interest of Polokwane, the city that is ours, the city that belongs to all of us, that we cannot afford to go the route that I believe is contemplated out there. I know that there is a very strong view that there must be litigation. I am not saying there must not be litigation. I am asking that we try and avoid it. But today is not meant to take away your right. If ultimately it means we have to confront each other in court, then so be it. But our plea, honestly, sincerely, is let us try and avoid that. And let us try and find one another. Let us hear what the concerns are, and let us address those concerns. And I commit to you that Polokwane municipality, as the executive mayor, I do not believe that, I don't have the appetite to go to court. But if I have to end up in court, I will go to court. But my plea is that we resolve this matter peacefully and amicably, without compromising any of your concerns. So I'm not here to ask you to say, ignore your concerns. Some of the concerns that you have, I do believe, are perhaps not factual and are a misrepresentation of what we are trying to do as Polokwane, which is why I thought, let us talk about this thing. The city cannot in any way contribute to the downfall of business in the city. It is in our interest that you as business people must do well. We need business to flourish. We need our economy to grow so that we can deal with the challenges that face this government of ours, key being the challenge of unemployment, which you are addressing through your business activity. So every business that closes is an opportunity gone down the drain for us to address our key problems that we are facing. Now I'm going to enlist some of the complaints, the issues that we heard through the media, through the grapevine, through conversation with some of you, and we are going to try and speak to each of those issues in a very frank manner, and we hope in your response you will also be very frank with us. Tell us where you agree with us, tell us where you disagree with us. Now, one of the key things that we've been told is that the reason why business want to go to court is because our process of compiling the valuation roll is flawed. The process is fundamentally flawed, and because it is flawed, business wants to take us to court. There is a view that there is no room for business, there will be no room for business to make their inputs once the policy has gone to council. And that would have deprived you as business people of the right to be heard on a matter that so fundamentally impacts on your existence as business. Effectively, the complaint is that there is no room created for public participation. The assertion is that as part of that process that is flawed, municipality was supposed to first adopt a policy before compiling, firstly appointing a valuer and then embarking on the process of the valuation roll. I was assured that there was case law to support this assertion, and I will speak to that. There's a view that how do you compile a valuation roll without having spoken to the owners of properties? Because the property owners have not made an input in the valuation or the values that would appear on the valuation roll. So it speaks to the methodology that is followed to compile this valuation roll. There is a view that Mankweng, for example, is not paying property rates, and the municipality is allowing that. And we are effectively milking business to subsidize people of Mankweng as a category. There is a question around business wanting to go to court because the municipality does not deal with the issues of illegal land use in the municipality. I was advised that the Farmers Association is joining business because there is this anticipated escalation of prices. And the very interesting point that has been made, which is now as I start engaging with these issues, is that one of the members of the opposition came to me when this matter first got to my attention. Firstly, there was a very deliberate questioning of the credentials of the valuer. And today there must be an input, a presentation on the competency and the profile of the valuer. That must be shared with you today, because there's a view that we have an incompetent valuer that we have appointed who does not know what he or she is doing. But I must also ask and say to you as business that we must be careful that we don't send a message which says that we would act as a bloc to fight for and insist that certain business people must be the ones who must do business. Point in case being the valuer. I have the greatest respect for our current valuer, but he can't be the only valuer that the municipality has known. He can't be the only valuer. And I cannot go and insist that he be appointed. I don't get involved in the process of appointing a valuer. And we must not be seen to be saying that unless it is that valuer, everybody else is wrong or incompetent, because that will be a wrong message that we are sending out there. Let me speak to the view that on the public participation, to say once you go to council, there is no room for us to speak. Now, public participation by law is a process that must be undertaken by the executive mayor in the case of Polokwane. Public participation in respect of our policies, public participation in respect of our IDP, public participation in respect of the budget and all the projects that we implement as the municipality, public participation if you want to enter into a loan agreement. That public participation ends in council taking a resolution. But it also starts with council taking a resolution. As the executive mayor, I have no authority to consult the public on any policy prior to me getting a mandate from council. Council effectively pass a resolution to say, here is a policy, go and consult the public about it. So the fear that we are first going to council with the policy and therefore it will be cast in stone is an unfounded allegation. Legally speaking, the process of lawmaking, of policy making, dictates that before I go out to consult, there must be a council resolution, and that council resolution in respect of the policy that we are discussing today, that council meeting is today. We are going to council today to say to council, we are now ready to go out and do public participation. Council then mandates me to come to you as stakeholders when we do the IDP. We have invited you in the past as business. We've invited you in the past as farmers. We have invited you in the past as the transport sector, but also we've invited you as the community in general to come and speak to our policies, our IDPs and our budgets. This is no different. The only difference this time is that we are starting a new cycle for our valuation role, which means there has to be greater focus this time on the property owners. Meaning that we may have to have a special session with the property owners to say to them, let us hear your views, because this time we are dealing with a valuation role. That policy will be available immediately after council. Meaning from tomorrow, you can have that policy. You can make any inputs, and you can either submit your inputs or you can submit them in the sessions that we are going to have, which we will advertise in the media publicly, as we always do. And we will come to you and you will make your inputs. As individuals, as organized property owners, as farmers, in whatever capacity you have that. The valuation roll will be available from the 7th of April, and you can make any inputs on anything on the valuation roll, including the value of your property. You can make those inputs, you can object to it, you can say whatever you want. Council will sit again at the end of May, I think it's the 28th or the 29th of May, where we will then take back to Council a policy and everything else, having considered the views. But before we go to Council at the end of May, we have to call, and if you go and look at the process plan of the IDP and budget, which is a public document which was adopted in Council, I think 1 or 2 councils ago we amended it. If you look at that cycle, you will find that just before Council adopts the policies, just before Council finalize the valuation roll, finalize the IDP, finalize the budget, we will have what we call a representative forum, which is basically a forum where all stakeholders, in your instance as property owners, you will have a representative there where we will come and present to the rep forum and say all the inputs that you have made in respect of the different issues, in respect of our projects, in your case in respect of the policy, as well as in respect of the valuation role. This is how we responded to it. This is what we have changed, this is what we can't change. With your representatives, we present it before we go to Council to finalize it. So the notion that there will be no room for public participation is unfounded. The second point I want to speak to is the one that says there should have been a policy before you appoint a valuer. And because you did not have the policy before, or you did not approve a policy for the next financial year before you appointed the valuer, the process is flawed. Now let me for a second just explain to you here that the valuation role, in simple terms, if we were on the street somewhere, I would say it is just a list of properties with the values attached to the properties. It does not say who's going to pay what. The policy speaks to one of the contentious issues, which is the categories that you'll have. Now, I wanted to conclude with this point, but I'm tempted to bring this point in now, because this is fundamentally